Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Command Your Confidence. This is your Wednesday live show where I give you my opinion about a certain thing that my life or what's going on in the world, and it's always blast because it's very interesting what I'm going to come up with. So today I want to talk to you guys about because I mentioned to you some of the benefits of being single and alone. I want to talk to you about some of the cons of being alone. But before I go into the video, please subscribe down to the channel down below and hit the bell for notifications, guys. We got a lot of great content I'm coming out with soon. So even though being alone and being single has its perks, there are some downsides to it. Not all of being single is like glamorous. There's a lot to it that I've come to realize um, for a while here now, I should say. And so I figured I'd kind of share with you some of the cons of being alone and see if you can agree with them. And I'll put a thing in the chat, a comment in the chat, and I want to talk any of you guys who are living alone. Tell me what your con is to like being alone, or what sucks about living alone or being single, right? So the first thing I really hate about being alone and single is it costs a lot of money. I have to develop a budget just to kind of pay my bills and get food, go out, have fun, invest money into my business, take care of my dog, and all these other fun stuff. And if I had someone to live with, I would say, or if I was sharing an apartment with a roommate, that would be a con, like a pro, because I could put away some of my money. I can save it. I can have a little bit more money to go on a vacation, not spend so much money on electricity and rent. Everything's like divided, and it just makes it easier to save more money or like spend more money on things you enjoy doing when you are not living alone. But when you are living alone and you're kind of you know working on a business and trying to get out of a job that's really you can still it's getting me by, but it's not quite what I want. And so I'm putting this I have to develop a budget just so I can pay everything on time and just take care of all that. And I remember before I was not living on my own, it was just a lot easier to set aside some money, and I could put more money into my marketing. I could go travel a little bit more than I can do right now. But that's just one of the downsides. Is this like it costs money to you're kind of because you're kind of taking care of yourself. You're not having anyone there to help you. So, but it's not a bad one. But it's one of the cons of like being alone. Okay, another one I'd have to say is, God, this is what I hate doing. This is doing, cleaning the house, doing like my adulting chores. Like nothing is more exciting than having to freaking clean up the fucking apartment, and doing the dishes and cooking my own meals after a long day of working. When I'm, working my 9 to 5, I go home, I put time into this channel, I do some other work for my clients and everything. And the last thing I always dread doing at the end of the day is like, I'm looking at the sink, I'm like, holy shit, I better clean this crap out because even though I'm freaking tired as hell, I better clean this out. I gotta clean these dishes out, otherwise I'll attract bugs and everything. And I just don't want to do it. It's just like the last thing I want to do. I gotta on the weekends I gotta do my laundry. And it's just like, oh man, like even though like the weekends aren't that bad, it's just like still another thing that you have to do. And when living with someone, I just remember it was all done for me. Like we just split the work and everything. And being on my own, you just can't do it. But you got to be a tough guy and say fuck it. I'm not gonna whine about it, even though like it can be a pain in the ass sometimes. But yeah, that's just one thing you have to do. You can't divide the chores, and it's just like more work on you, and you got to kind of fit that into your schedule. And because you got to get shit done, otherwise, like you don't want a messy apartment. Like you don't want to have a hot girl over that you're ready to just like make mad passionate love to or whatever, and you're like, oh crap, I forgot to like freaking do these dishes. My toilet has shit stains on it. No, that would be really bad. So you definitely got to fit some time into your budget for that. I mean time into your day or a week when you're going to do that, and it just becomes like another hassle. But hey, that's the part of being a grown up. You just got to man the fuck up and say, got to do it, even though you don't want to do it. But I mean, it is another con just having to do. It's like extra work that heck, until I can hire a maid, or be live with someone again, I just have to worry about. But I will survive. Um, okay, so another thing. Let's see. I got getting out my notes here. So sometimes too, it can get like really lonely. I notice, you could. I mean, I got a life outside of my work and everything, but sometimes like I just come home and I got a dog here, but it's just weird. Like I remember during the whole quarantine thing. I mean, luckily I had friends to talk to back home, but sometimes it's just I notice like it's just silence, which I like sometimes, but when you're used to living with someone, you're used to having that communication with them, like one on one, like you're used to that, just talking to someone there, like and as long as they weren't annoying. I mean, I never had an annoying roommate, but that could sometimes you don't, depending on how you get along with the roommate, you might say, "Fuck it, I don't want that." But sometimes, just being alone, I miss that communication. Right, come home at the end of the day, and I just want to like chill out and shit. And I just miss that communication with just having someone to talk to. I mean, yeah, I can go on the phone and talk to someone, but I'd rather just be able to talk to someone in person, because like, it gets like quiet here, especially at like nighttime. It's weird because I remember like living with the ex, just have like conversations and shit, and like right before you go to bed. But nighttime it's more of like I do my meditation, but sometimes it's just that awkward silence and everything that just kind of is like, oh God, I wish you had someone to like kind of talk to while you're there. I mean, but that's why you got to keep yourself busy, and just keep your mind off things and just stay focused, and that's how you can deal with that. And sometimes if you're an introvert and you have a hard time just getting out, say you're just getting out of a relationship, or you're single at the moment and not in a relationship. Yeah, and I could understand. Sometimes you guys like being alone, but sometimes you just want to go be around people too. And so I just encourage you just to kind of go out, get out of the house and do shit. Because like I mean, sometimes it's like being alone all the time. Just like staying in can drive you crazy, but you can get over it, so it's not the end of the world. Okay, one of the other cons to, I guess, being alone and single is, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I do sometimes miss having a relationship with someone. Like it's weird, especially around on holidays, because I like I remember back in when I'd had my like a serious relationship with someone, and I always love the holidays, just doing stuff with that person and shit like that, birthdays and shit, and it's weird when holidays, certain holidays come up. Well, it didn't happen last holiday because I had a date, so I mean, like probably like New Year's Eve, but yeah, like before I would just be like, oh God, it's what, I actually miss like having someone like to kind of like see on a daily basis, and go to special events with all the time, and kind of be laying in the same bed. But that's a sacrifice I'm willing to take right now, just to kind of focus on myself more. But when I'm not, you know, so I'm okay, but it's just it gets weird sometimes, and then it's always weird because like when I'm out wandering alone, or just going out somewhere, I can go see uh, other people and like other couples together, and it's just like, just because like you're not. in a relationship and you're taking a break from relationships, or if you're seeing someone and you're just moving along slowly rather than rushing it. But it just sometimes can get like super, I should say, weird, or you get that nostalgia almost. Like you're like, oh my God, like, God, this is like so weird. I'm not in a relationship. God, I miss, just kind of being with someone. When you see that stuff, you get that feeling sometimes when, you're living a single life and, you see other couples out there, but eventually, you can just move on and you can deal with it, and then I guess, one of the last things I would have to say is kind of crappy is like, yeah, being independent is awesome and everything. I love just kind of being able to, like I mentioned, that was a benefit last time, but it can also be a con too, because I gotta deal with a lot of stuff that just comes up at the moment, and like, how you have those instances where, like, you're just like, or you're cruising along, you're like, I'm a badass motherfucker, and then all of a sudden, like, you get something just happens all of a sudden in life, and you're just like, oh shit, yeah, those are the type of experiences I'm talking about. And I sometimes it's just like, even though I've learned how to deal with that, sometimes it's just a pain in the ass, because when you have someone there, it makes things easier for you to, when a situation like that arises, and it's convenience. And I guess it's that convenience that I miss. Just the kind of, when you had someone there, you're like, so a situation came up, you're like, and I'll say you had something bad happen where you injured yourself, where you had to go to the hospital, or an emergency came up, or you wanted to go out of town, and you said, we can have this person, like, watch the place, or a dog and stuff. But yeah, I guess that's the inconvenience about it. But you learn to deal with it. When you become more independent, because you'll find like solutions to problems like that, which is always good. And so, yeah, man, that's it, guys. So I gave you the 5 cons of living alone and being single. But it's not the end of the world. I am still happy, and we should all be happy. But there's pros and cons to everything in life, and I just thought I'd share with you some of mine. Be sure to share some of your cons or pros to being alone and single in the comments below. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to the channel down below. I got a lot of great content coming up soon, and hit the bell for notifications. And I'm going to catch you guys on the next stream. I believe that's going to be Monday. So until then, take care.